So the big chunk about the specification, I would say two things interior designer needed to control. One is what the contractor are going to build, the quality of it. Second is the price, because without the specification, we will not get a proper price, or we would not know whether the price is proper or not. So remember these two things. We'll come back to this. So we can talk about the contract document, which is on the textbook 258, just based on what this one, based on the name contract document, what this one is. What are the components of some kind of a contract document? You dealt with always something which is part of the contract document. Oh, actually, most of the interior designers do is part of the contract document. So what are they?
Construction documents.
Correct, that's the beginning, yes. Yes, FF&E, yes. Quotation is not, quotation is, well, we give contract document and then we ask for quotation. That's a separate thing, yeah? Shop drawing, no, no, yeah. Good, interesting that you mentioned. Shop drawing, by the way, is not prepared by the designer, it's prepared by the contractor. So when designer issue a whole set of drawing, the contractor will rework on that set of drawing and prepare shop drawing for the designer to approve. Yeah, it's interesting that you talk about those things. Yeah, no, yeah. So page 258, something else?
Schedules. Schedule, you need to follow the timeline.
Schedule, yes, yes. Schedule is a good thing to have, I think. Probably not, in a way. I think actually, to correct, no, schedule is not. Okay, let's not confuse ourselves. This contract document is that we issue to get quotations. We issue the whole set of contract document and then to push the project forward. The schedule is after we award this to some kind of a contractor, then we start to supervise the project. Then we need a schedule. So no, a schedule is not a part of the contract document. So, BID is the contractor. Okay, you have a project, you will need a contractor, right? You don't just want to call one contractor, you want a bid. You want to look for 3 contractors, Muhammad and Haytham. Yes, those 3 contractors, and then they each give you a bid. And then you say, okay, Haytham's price is reasonable, and his bid, you read the bid document and see what they actually propose, and you say, okay, that's my best bid. Yeah. Any other? Okay, so contract document, okay, let's read this. Often referred to as a CD, okay? So if you hear CD, I mean, in US, people do use the short terms like those, yeah. So you don't want to be totally, consists of all construction drawings, specifications, contracts or agreements between designers and the owner. Okay, contracts. So a drawing, specification, and a contract. Basically, that's the main component of contract document, yeah. And why do we need a contract document?
Because it's legal and binding, so like if anyone like messes up, you can like have like pursue action against them.
And also we issue the contract document to get the bid, yeah, to push the project forward to reality. So we prepare all the drawings, specification, we sign the agreement with the owner, yeah, and then we start to call for bidding. So get a couple of contractors. Yeah, to push it to the bid, so that to push it to the reality. You found people building it, you get the price, the quotation, and all of that. So yeah, so actually, let's not to confuse anything, just be logical. Because if we put our intuition, we know what we needed to do. We just sometimes don't know the names. And sometimes we confuse ourselves. And Kumasha can definitely confuse me, say schedule is part of a contract document. And honestly, It's not in my mind. I wouldn't know, but I think about it. I think, what is the purpose of a contract document? Then I can rule out some possibilities. That's how we deal with, and we don't all need to remember. Let's not to try to remember things. Let's try to give ourselves a structure of learning. That's very important. And analyze and why and how, that type of thing. So interior design is just a lens that you can eventually go out and understand the world. That's how, any major is your structure and your strengths to understand the world. That's all you need. It's not a baggage of stuff, paper, and knowledge. It's a structure. Make that a structure, then you'll be, very successful. Move on to specification. There's two big categories: closed and open. So give me some ideas. So what's open specification? What's a closed specification? Any idea? Better definition, yeah. Open, okay.
Open.
Yeah.
Is the open specification.
Yeah.
It's basically more flexible and could be changed by the supplier or contractor or the one who is responsible for this.
Okay, very, very close. 95% close. Yeah. Good. So open is provide opportunities so the bid can actually be different. Okay, so if I say 12 millimeter plywood supplied and to be built cabinet in certain way, this contractor will go and source some kind of a plywood and he would build. He would say, okay, I offer you $300 for this cabinet. Another one, because it's open, it says 12 millimeter, otherwise there's no like what nail should be in there. Like they can have other opportunities, options, so they can give you different price. Basically, that's the only thing, open so that you can get different price and then you can compare the price. Closed is go to IKEA and buy this table and the table is 200 real. So there's no other option, so it's closed. So what are the advantage and the disadvantage between the open and the closed? We sort of understand the open, we understand. What about the closed? Do we have any advantage? If there's no advantage for the closed specification, it should not even exist, right? Yes.
For example, there's no chance for wrong implementation of the design. But you have it, and that's it. You buy whatever. If it suits you, you buy it. If not, you don't buy it.
Good.
But when it's but maybe a disadvantage would be is that you can't really control it. That's it. It's not custom made, but maybe with the open specification, you can more play with it to make it related to your design or whatever you want.
True. Okay, very good. You got the idea. So why do we make it open? We want to get different price and compare, and you do need the knowledge to control it. Once it's open, to close means I'm totally in control. This is what I want and the client want. And sometimes often is initiated by the clients, by the way. The client says, I want this brand, I want this make, so eventually it's a closed specification because the client doesn't want any alternative. Of course, as a designer, you can always say, by the way, there are other options. Would you consider that might be a better price? And you have a certain knowledge, and you can always offer to the client as some kind of advice. Okay, excellent. So moving on to 4 different type of specification. Okay, proprietary. The definition is, by the way, this 581 is a wrong number. So everything is on page 200 something. That's an old book. Okay, thank you. So that's a wrong number, just so that you know. Okay, proprietary is correct on page 263. Yeah. So we talk about the proprietary. If anyone is wanted to read a little bit, you will see right away what is the definition of a proprietary specification. Just as a little bit learning, word. That word is almost not very familiar for a non-native speaker. Proprietary means something that is a property owned by someone. So if proprietary information, that means this information I will not disclose easily as the property of my company or my business. Yeah. So what's the proprietary specification?
It requires competitive bid for furniture. It's a private entity.
Hold on. Proprietary, page 263. Somewhere in the middle says.
Names the products and materials by manufacturer name, model number, or part number.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good enough. So now the question is proprietary mostly open or closed the specification? Good, yeah, so that's very good. So proprietary, no options, closed the specification. Designer and the client in total control. Yeah, don't mess around. This is all I want. I don't expect any alternative. Yeah.
What kind of specification is an open?
All the rest. Yeah, all the rest. So proprietary, and after that is descriptive, performance, and reference. Yeah, all those other three are open. Yeah, open to certain degree. So so their definition is somewhere, you know, follow the page 264 is descriptive, and then followed by performance, and then reference. So let's not confuse ourselves, because all of these terms can be confusing. What we wanted is we wanted to know what they are. Okay, we want to describe, right? If I'm a kitchen designer, I will describe my countertop as granite. I haven't described. I can keep on describing. I can, but I'm still describing. I'm not saying go and look for a quarry in Brazil and it's called the Black Galaxy. If that's the case, and then it's almost become a closed, because you know in any market that's a closed, yeah, because you already specified. So it's not open, no alternative. But I can describe without saying it's a Black Galaxy. I say, give me 20 millimeter granite with dramatic pattern on it. I like some kind of a dramatic. I do not want a little, you know, little pixel, you know, like you will see it as kind of a cheaper, yeah, granite. So I say, bring some material samples, you know, so I will see it. So you can describe, you can keep describing. I would like the granite to be with a dramatic yellowish pattern, you know. Yeah, or you might even show an image. Even that you're showing an image still might be open. Describe it with an image, because you're still accepting alternative. Yeah, so description. And performance then is different. Performance is sometimes, let's say the door, okay, the door. I needed a 2-hour fire rated door. That would be a performance, yeah. So that's not, so the difference between descriptive and the performance, let me tell you, okay, if I wanted a person, okay, I'm looking for a husband, I'm going to describe my future husband as at least 1.8 in height, okay, with a PhD degree, and oh, that's really okay. I don't know. You can describe. That's still description, okay, and whatever. Okay, that's the description. Performance is this. Okay, so let's differentiate the performance and descriptive. Performance is he has to cook all the meals. Yeah, so that is not guaranteed by a PhD or height or, you know, anything. That's the performance. So that's basically the difference.
But wouldn't that be related to the specification then? in that example, that would be related.
Yeah, the performance is like when I describe the door as a 2-hour fire rated, because any door, it doesn't have to be a metal or any door, you know, different materials can all have a 2-hour rated, fire rated, right? So in description, you would say it has to be a metal door, and the thickness is such, and whatever, with a small glass window that's that is also fire rated. That's a descriptive. Performance is this door sustained in the fire for 2 hours.
How is it open then?
Oh no, you can open it's a door. It's just will not, the fire will not leak into the corridor, or you know, if you go to a building.
No, I mean, how is it an open specification if you already specified that it should stay for 2 hours?
It's still open because it can have many different alternative 2 hours. Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. If I describe as a wool, 50% wool, 50% cotton, that's more descriptive. Yeah. And performance is the carpet should also sustain in the fire and does not give any toxic chemicals. Yeah. So if it's a wool and a cotton, yes, it gives out the smoke, but doesn't give any toxic chemicals. So yeah, good. Okay. So reference. Okay, reference. Reference is for lazy people. Okay. So Sarah wanted to find a husband. Sarah says, okay, reference to Li Han's husband. Okay.
What? I don't understand.
No, of course no. No.
I want the same as this.
Yeah. Reference. Yeah, like I said, the reference is for lazy people. Reference to something that's already existed. And people go and look for that reference. And you don't need to write a lot. You don't need to think about the chemical component of certain materials. You don't need to spend too much time describing it. You just refer to certain format. How is it open? Yeah, because you can refer to, but it still allows to alternative.
So either referring to Dina's husband or Sarah's husband?
Yeah,
Yeah?
good, yes. Okay, so even refer to only Dina's husband can still be open. Yeah, because it's still alternative. There are 5 different guys all meeting the same category, right? Yeah. Okay. Seconders, we all understand this very well. Okay. So, by the way, where do you look for reference? There's certain places. Okay, understand this. Construction Specification Institute. I mean, this is just institute. If we Google it, we'll find. And by the way, on that institute, there's this book that you could purchase for a little less than $200, and then that gives you a lot of descriptions of certain construction materials, you know, that you can use. If we want it, we can. Anyway, that is called, okay, so the relationship between the Construction Specification Institute and the master format is CSI issues master format. Okay, this is same. Okay, let's take a look. And once I'm done with my lecture, I will go to that website. I will show you, and then you can refer to master format in the future a lot as a specifier for a company. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about just a little bit below right here, the bid, the bound form, the bid bound, the performance bound, and all of that, just a little bit, and to touch on and finish all of this. So, you know, let me see. After, yeah, it's followed after.
276.
Yeah, 276. Yeah. So first of all, you're going to look for some contractors, yeah, and then they will all, they're like applicants apply for jobs, so they will all fill out a form, yeah. So it's called the bound form, and then oftentimes with the form, I believe, I might be wrong, you can correct me, because I do not always remember things. What I try to do is, and also the same way I teach you, is I give you the logic. Why? to remember things is dangerous actually. Let's try not to remember anything, but to always know the logic so that when things comes, you can quickly analyze the situation. I believe they also need to give you a little bit of like a deposit as a contractor, just so that they are ready to work. You know, this is always, I think that is based on human trust. I give you a deposit, so there's a bit more trust between us. Like you sometimes also will get a deposit from your client. So you understand, designer is the critical piece between the client and the contractor. That's why you collect a lot of deposit for people or on behalf of other people, because you are the key to run the whole project, right? So you can correct me, you can read, and I believe there's, and anyway, there's the bid bond, which goes, that's really the money, you know. They need to give you 5,000 real so that you would accept their application, and you would seriously review and see if this is a good contractor or not. Yeah. Okay. Performance bond then is different. Performance bond is really to give it to people who the winners. You don't collect the performance bond if they're not the winner. If you're not going to award this contract to them, you don't collect it from, you know. So Muhammad and Ahmed, yeah. So if they're not going to get to the contract, you will not collect the performance. The performance is only the winner. The performance bond is to ensure their performance. If they don't perform to a certain way, then you don't give them the bond, you know, you confiscate it. You sometimes give it to the client, probably, you know. Okay. Sorry, Mohammed. Okay. Labor and the material payment is to ensure the, by the way, make a guess, what's a labor and material payment bond? Is a bond to bound two parties together. What's that bond? It's some kind of money. It's labor and performance payment.
Maybe it's like a bond which you don't like cash out immediately, but like cash out after it's like you've done the work. But you have the money.
You mean as who?
As the contractor and the person hired.
Okay, whose money is this labor and the material bond? Whose money?
Clients?
No. Correct, contractor's money. Yeah, yeah. Contractor will also give some money or use that as a bond, I believe. Let's check quickly, yeah? Everybody open your book, check what's the labor and the material payment bond, yeah? And go and check on which page. I believe logically, the contractor should give the designer, whoever is supervise the contract, some money to ensure that they have money to buy materials. You know, so for example, some contract can be 1 billion real, very big contract. So if the contractor has only 1 million in their account, are you going to be comfortable to award that 1 billion project to that contract that has only 1 million real in the account? You probably don't, yeah? They need to have their size of the company and their ability should be proper match to the project. So check this one. And how do we check? Where do we found? Let's just think about this. This is actually, to me, is interesting in terms of money. Whose money goes to who? How do we secure the project so that the designers will not be trapped by running the project and even not making money, maybe losing money? You know, that's basically the basic logic of what the designers needed to do, is to protect yourself as well as your client, but also at the same time, protect yourself against the client also, because sometimes the client sue the designer. So all of that is a little pieces that all this little brain need to process, so that, and also put on a big smile when you see anybody, the contractor, the subcontractor, the client, you know, charming, always charming, you know, all of that is not today I'm in a bad mood, so I throw something to my client, I throw a temper. You know, you can't do that. You can never do that. Once you've done that, your house, you're finished. Your whole career is finished, you know. So you know, you understand the interior designer is involved with a lot of training. So let's conclude today with this much of knowledge, and then let's open up for some open discussion if anyone has any question. And of course, my recommendation to all of you, and by the way, this payment, this one, whatever, this payment and labor and the material payment bond, I'm not going to quiz anyone on that because I think it still take a little bit more time. And if you are interested, do a little bit of research, okay? Show that you are interested in this. You know, you don't have to be interested today or anytime soon. But if you are interested in a certain piece of information, my recommendation to all of you is to go and look for that piece of information.